Here is the icon of the sport and future Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome boxing's legendary and only 8-division champion of the world, introducing the one and only Manny Pacquiao.
Boxing presents a night of championship boxing. In a WBC light flyweight championship match, former champ Brian Valoria tries to ascend to a title again against Edgar Sosa, who brings with him a 14-fight win streak. Julio Cesar Chavez tries to stay undefeated in a welterweight battle with tough Midwesterner Anthony Schuler. Colorful and hard-hitting Jorge Arce tries to win his third world title when he takes on the skilled WBC super flyweight champ Christian Mijares. And in our main event, last year's Fighter of the Year, Manny Pacquiao takes on the number 2 ranked contender, undefeated Jorge Solis, with the WBC International super featherweight title on the line. Then we move inside the Alamodome, where a crowd of upwards of 12,000 people getting ready for tonight's festivities. Well, hi everybody, I'm Al Bernstein. Delighted you could join us for what we believe will be a very exciting night of boxing. And why are we so confident? Well, it's because from the main event on down, most of the fighters you're going to see tonight are known for their aggressive, all-out action style. And certainly no one typifies that better than Manny Pacquiao, who will be taking on Jorge Solis in our main event. To talk a little bit more about that main event, let me bring in one of my colleagues on this telecast, the fine boxing analyst and Newsday columnist, Wally Matthews. And Wally, in the main event, Manny Pacquiao is returning here to the same building where he had one of his best victories in 2003 against Marco Antonio Barrera. In fact, the one that put him on the map. And now here we are years later, and he's quite an attraction in boxing.
He really is. You know, 4 years later, Manny Pacquiao is one of the most popular fighters in boxing and one of the most entertaining fighters. And it's kind of remarkable, Al, because first of all, the weight class, 130 pounds, is not one that generally gets a lot of attention. And for another thing, Manny Pacquiao doesn't even have an official world title. He has a WBC International title. It all goes to show you that his appeal is not in the title, but in his abilities, which are considerable. Now tonight, you got Jorge Solis coming in here, and on paper, it doesn't seem like he's a real strong threat to Manny Pacquiao. However, at this moment, Manny Pacquiao's got a lot of things going on in his life outside of boxing. He's running for a congressional seat back home in the Philippines. He's in the middle of a lawsuit with 2 promotional companies. And also his trainer, Freddie Roach, was not in training camp with him for this fight, training Oscar De La Hoya. He'll be trained. Actually, Freddie will be here tonight in the ring, but the training was done by Justin Fortune, who was Freddie's assistant. So there's a lot of things that are different about Pacquiao's camp tonight. This could be a night where he could be ripe for an upset.
Manny is certainly facing a fighter we need to point out who has never lost a professional prize fight, but then he's never been in against Matthews and Gennaro Hernandez, and we're going to talk a little strategy about the main event coming up. First of all, for Manny Pacquiao, we know, Wally, he's a very aggressive fighter. What does he need to do to make sure he wins this fight?
Well, you know, first of all, let me just say that there's any fighter in the world that could close this show and follow what we've seen so far, it's Manny Pacquiao. I think what he's got to do is fight a controlled but aggressive fight, because if there's one thing Solis is going to try to do, and I'll let Gennaro explain it in more detail, he's going to try to make Pacquiao miss and counter the same way Mijares just did with Arce. I think that Pacquiao has got to fight his fight where he comes out strong, body punches, uses his right hook, uses a lot of pressure, uses his non-stop, tireless punching ability, but does not leave himself open, which he sometimes has a habit of doing.
All right, that's Manny Pacquiao's part of the equation. Now we're We're going to turn to Gennaro Hernandez, and we're going to ask about Jorge Solis. He's a 7-1 underdog. Clearly, he's a fighter that a lot of people don't expect to be able to win this, but he is undefeated. He has never lost a fight, a couple of draws. What can he do against this hard-charging Pacquiao?
You know, I think he has to utilize the jab. Avoid dropping those hands. He drops his hands too much. Maintain that left hand up because he's a very strong fighter. So you know what? You got to work the body on Pacquiao. Move a lot. Do not stay and try to exchange punches with him,
All right, so Manny Pacquiao and Jorge Solis getting ready for this big matchup. Manny Pacquiao drew a very big crowd here to San Antonio. A lot of you watching, of course, around the world on pay-per-view, and there's no question that this is a fight that a lot of people are interested in seeing. And this is kind of a golden age for junior featherweights, junior lightweights, and Manny Pacquiao has been a part of that, Wally, along with the Marquezes and the Barreras and the Morales. They have created something akin to what Hagler, Benitez, and Duran did in their day. That's not an overstatement.
No, you're absolutely right. And if there's anything in common with both eras, it's the lack of a dominant heavyweight. And you know, we're in the post-Muhammad Ali era, pre-Mike Tyson era, when those guys thrived. Right now, you know, it's wide open for one of the lower weight guys to grab the spotlight in boxing. I think Manny Pacquiao's done that.
That's for sure. And Gennaro, for a champion like this, he's 28 years old. He's the youngest of the group of the big four that we mentioned before. He seems to have a lot ahead of him. Of course, he can't stub his toe tonight on Jorge Solis.
You're right. He needs to focus himself a little bit more because he's starting to get to the politics, and I believe that may sidetrack him a little bit. But you're right. He does have the spotlight on him right now. He has all the people in supporting him. He's actually given us a lot of great fights, and he's able to continue that for several more years if he focuses.
Well, no question, Jorge Solis would like to upset the apple cart this evening with a big upset. We've seen a couple of them tonight already. Now, in a moment or two, we're going to be getting the national anthems of 3 different countries. Let's send things up right now to Michael Buffer. All right, they are not quite ready for those anthems. We were led to believe they were. This crowd getting ready for what they believe will be a very, very exciting matchup. Manny Pacquiao and Jorge Solis. And the interesting thing is we're getting ready. Let's go to Michael Buffer.
3 national anthems for the champion, the challenger, and for the home, the USA. At this time, here to sing the national anthem of the Philippines. Please welcome Ms. Geneva Cruz.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay, lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pa sisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng luwal, hatik pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo, aming ligaya ng pag may mga api ang mamatay na dahil sa'yo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to sing the national anthem to honor the challenger the national anthem of Mexico, to be performed by international recording star Dinora.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciño patria tus sienes de oliva, de la paz del arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su planta tu suelo, pienso, patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of the United States, to be performed by a member of the recording group Manny Pacquiao. Please welcome Ms. Diana Gonzalez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We have a problem, obviously, with our audio. We're going to try and work that out, but clearly there's an issue with the audio and Manny Pacquiao. We're going to stay with this, though, because we do want to hear what Manny Pacquiao has to say, but there are some issues with the audio right now, and this crowd, of course, also getting a chance to hear what he has to say. So they're anxious to hear as well.
Manny Pacquiao, congratulations, great victory tonight. Thank you very much. We'll go back to Al at ringside.
All right, thank you, Wally. Well, we didn't quite get all of that from Manny Pacquiao. Wally Matthews will update us when he comes down here. But in any case, clearly Manny Pacquiao happy that he got that win and got the job done against Jorge Solis, and did it in fine fashion. And they're getting some support from the fans here as well. And Gennaro Hernandez, Manny Pacquiao was able to get his power going during the middle of that fight, and once he did that, he got the job done.
Yeah, you're right, Al. obviously, I guess it took that little headbutt to make him see red, to get him fired up.
Literally.
Literally, yes. To impose his will and power behind Solis, and obviously that's what happened. He connected him with a couple of good shots and sent him to the canvas.
And Jorge Solis, who is leaving this ring, for him, not a terrible performance, and he showed in many respects that he could be troublesome in that division. After all, Manny Pacquiao is a Hall of Fame fighter, getting the accolades of this crowd right now. So for Solis, clearly a good effort by him, even in losing.
Of course, for Solis, you never put your head down. You went in there against one of the best, if not the best fighter right now in that weight division. Obviously, he did the best he could. He went in there, slid, dodged, countered, but he didn't have the power. So, he did a good show.
Well, Manny Pacquiao accepting the accolades of this crowd, and why not? Back here at ringside with Wally Matthews and Gennaro Hernandez. Now, we had some technical difficulties right at the end of your interview. Let's talk a little bit about what he was saying about what his future might be, Wally.
Well, he said he wants to fight Marquez next, and of course, he's going to be watching very closely when his brother Bobby fights Humberto Soto, because that's somebody that's probably in his future as well. But first order of business, he said, is to go win that election in the Philippines, and he thinks that this is going to help him. He thinks he won a lot of votes here tonight.
Well, probably some folks watching on pay-per-view, and certainly they'll know about this in the Philippines, that's for sure. Well, it was an interesting evening of boxing. Let's wrap it up by talking about a couple of performances that were very, very impressive. Christian Mijares winning against Jorge Arce and Gennaro. That was a performance that was really superb. An upset, certainly, but he shows us that he's a worthy champion.
Oh, definitely. To me, I gave him an A+ on his outcome tonight. He went in there, showed the two-time world champion that he was the champion of his weight division, and he was not going to be stepped over by anybody else, and tonight he proved it.
And Edgar Sosa also winning a world championship against Brian Valoria. A quick final thought, Wally, about this Pacquiao victory.
Well, you know what? I think that Manny Pacquiao showed us again why he's so popular and why more boxing fans have got to open their minds and watch lower weight guys who maybe are not American, guys who haven't gotten a lot of the hype machine behind them. This guy's an exciting fighter. If he was a heavyweight, he might be one of the most popular fighters or athletes in the world.
It's a golden age of fighters in that general weight division, and Manny Pacquiao is at the head of the pack, but there are some other great ones too, that's for sure. Well, we hope you enjoyed this evening of boxing. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. On behalf of Gennaro Hernandez and Wally Matthews, we'll see you next time.
Bibigay ang puso, mapakaliwa o mapakalan, wala nang kabayapan. Sa aking buhay paligid, puro na lang kabigatian, at tumating ang luho pati ng mga tukso. At parang nakalimutan siya ang bumubuo, mundong ginagalawan at aking pinatapakan. Yung kanyang upuing hawa ang aking pagpipilian. Noong siya aking pinili, tunay ako nagwagi. Isa kong masasabi, siyang matimbang at naghari. Sa kanya di magdadalawang isip na tumalikod pa. Wala akong ibang pinili kung hindi paglingap niya. Nakinatok ang aking puso, ako'y natauhan. Lahat ng natamo dahil sa kanyang pangalan.